What's going on, my good people? My name is Kyle, and we're back with episode 3 of my Sundays with Me series, where I talk about quotes and lifestyle topics that mean a lot to me and hopefully interest you and hopefully spread positivity and productivity your way and get the week off to a good start. So, first order of business, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Today's Father's Day. I just sent my dad a virtual card. I really appreciate and love my dad. So, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. On this rainy Sunday. It had to be a rainy Sunday, but we love the rain every once in a while. We've been needing it here. So, Father's Day. And also I watched Loki episode 2. I'm really excited about the direction that show is going in. I know some people probably weren't expecting it. They were expecting to probably see Loki just traveling through time, wreaking havoc for the entire show. And I'm actually glad that's not happening. I know some people might be glad about that too. Some people might be upset, but I like the direction the show is going in, just my personal opinion. And I'm really excited to see where the MCU keeps going from here. I'm super excited about episode 3 of Loki. I've also been watching The Mandalorian, catching up. At this point, I'm super far behind. I'm watching I've watched like the first 4 episodes, and it's been pretty interesting so far. The whole Baby Yoda thing and all that, I remember that was floating around on the internet. It's probably still a big thing, but I don't even see those memes that much anymore. So, The Mandalorian and Loki, and I'm also trying to get around to reading Eat, Pray, Love, but I'm just not. I haven't been in a reading mood too much, just because I'm on the road and I'm also like on my laptop a lot doing my work. So a lot of times I'm just like, I don't feel like reading, but I'm trying to get into my reading schedule because that was one of my big goals when I started this year. I'm trying to read more books, and I've read 2 this year so far. This third one, I feel like I'm just gonna have to take a month off between finishing the last one and starting really to pick up reading this one. So, but that's all good. That happens. So let's jump into today's quote. I want to start with a quote by Maya Angelou, the legendary Maya Angelou, author of Why the Caged Bird Sings, that whole thing. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. So today's quote is coming from Goodreads.com, and it's, "Do the best you can until you know better. Then, when you know better, do better." That is a quote that I've gone back to a lot the past few days, past few weeks, because I'm in a new position. I just sort of technically graduated college, and I feel that I'm in a point in my life, personally, where I'm in a lot of situations that I just haven't been in before. And that's obviously going to keep happening, right? That's what's supposed to happen in life. But for some reason, when you're in the stretch of college, you at least have some security behind your decisions of like, okay, well, next year I'm going to be a sophomore, next year I'm going to be a junior, next year I'm going to be a senior. But as soon as something hits you, a big change in life, starting college was the same way, and now finishing college is a similar thing right now. It's like I just feel like I don't know what to do sometimes. Like I just flat out don't know what to do. Sometimes I'll handle conflicts and I feel like I'm being really harsh in conflicts, especially with my roommate sometimes. Sometimes I feel like I'm just flipping out on them, but I don't know if I'm doing it in a respectful way, in a firm way, or if I'm just doing it in a very harsh way. And I have to try to gauge the way I'm interacting with people. And I don't know what it is about. I've never really had that feeling this intensely before. So I keep going back to this quote because it just gives me peace in knowing that, okay, I don't have to do everything right the first time around. Someone very influential in my life also mentioned that to me. You don't have to get everything right the first time around. If you don't, especially at this point in your life, early 20s, it's okay. It's actually it's normal. And I'm saying this like it's a new realization, or like I'm saying something unorthodox, or something that hasn't been said a million times before, and that's not true. Everybody older than me probably already knows this, and I guess you come to terms with that the older you get. So I'm just trying to go back to this quote: do the best you can until you know better, then when you know better, do better. Just take it a day at a time. Essentially is what that says to me. Just keep things simple and just do your best. just do your best. A lot of things just boil down to just do your best. So I'm going to try to keep revisiting this quote. I love Maya Angelou's quotes. I love her writings. Yes, she was an amazing writer, and I always go back to her quotes and her philosophies for inspiration. So Maya Angelou for today on this rainy Sunday. So the next thing I want to do is a sort of a new thing that I want to kind of keep going. I'm always on Quora. Quora is a question and answer website where anybody can ask a question up there and get answers from anybody who has an account on the website. And I think you have to have an account to ask questions too, but I'm always scrolling through Quora. So I'm just thinking that maybe I should loop that into the Sundays with me and start responding to questions on Quora, but in a video instead of actually posting them on the website, because I don't know, I just rather do it in a video. So from the question on Quora today, the topic I chose was sharing opinions, and I figured I would just sort of branch off of a question on Quora. And the question is, it comes from a user by the name of Ashley Smith, who posted in November of 2010. And the question is, why do people love sharing their personal opinions? As I literally sit here and share my personal opinion. Okay, so why do people love sharing their personal opinions? This is a topic I've been thinking about, especially after conversations I've had with people recently. Why do people love sharing their personal opinions? A lot of times in conversations now, going off of what I was saying earlier about not getting everything right the first time around, I'm finding that throughout my life, I probably share my opinions. And a lot of people do this too. Probably the vast majority of people share opinions when they're not even asked for or requested at all. We just sort of throw our opinions around. Sometimes when it's warranted in a conversation, right? Like the social cue dictates that you say something in response to somebody else. But other times it's weird because I have this impulse to just say stuff sometimes. Like I'm trying to be helpful, but it's based on my knowledge of my life experiences. And I may not even offer a helpful opinion in that situation. To me, the way I see it, there's two dimensions to it. There's the internal dimension and the external dimension to this. Internally, I think we share our opinions because we fear that if we don't, we'll be left out, and that all of our philosophies, everything that's building up inside of us, our philosophies, our ideologies, our ways of self-expression. Talking is the easiest form of self-expression to those who are able. Literally anybody can do it anytime. You can record a video and post it to YouTube. Talking is the easiest form of self-expression. So it's this internal fear that if we don't express ourselves, then we will sort of be isolated. Nobody likes to be isolated. It's against human desire to want to be isolated. Nobody intrinsically, we want to be social. So of course there's that. Internally, we know that if we don't express ourselves, we're that much closer to the end. And so externally, I think that on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the top layer, the newest top layer, is called self-transcendence. So at some points, and in the back of our minds, pretty much always, Maslow's hierarchy of needs says that we always have this desire to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. And so sharing your opinion, like I said, self-expression, after you express yourself, you want to give yourself to something bigger than yourself, because ultimately that is what leads to a fulfilling life. But those intrinsic desires often, like many things that are a part of our evolutionary makeup, can lead to some very awkward spaces in the modern day. And so a lot of times sharing our opinions may just not be helpful in some situations, or it may be helpful, maybe more helpful than we realize. All of this is a lot to think about in any given situation. So basically what I'm trying to pull from this is, I don't want to share my opinion too much. I just want to share my opinions And basically, I want to get into the habit of, would you like to hear my opinion on this subject? Or how can I help? And then if someone asks me, well, what do you think about this? Well, then it's time to share my opinion. But before that, I think that I'm just trying to get into the habit of not necessarily saying, I don't even want to say anything. If people just sort of rant and ramble, I just want to listen. I just want to listen, because it's a lot easier when you're not constantly trying to insert your opinions into things. It's just easier. It's easier on your mental health. It's easier on your life. So I'm just trying to get into the habit of opening or at least knocking on the gate first before I just knock it open. Would you like to hear my opinion on this subject? Or would you be interested in hearing how I think I could help? Or how I think I could offer some suggestions that may help? And so sharing opinions, it's a very simple topic, right? Like I said, talking is a very easy form of self-expression, but at the same time, I think you have to put your mental health first and then go off of ways that you think you can help, but only do the best with what you got. And if somebody doesn't want to listen to you, so be it. So be it. Like Maya Angelou says, do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better. So that's what it is. It is what it is. It ain't what it ain't. So thank you for watching this week's Sundays with me. I hope the thumbnail looks better for this week. I'm trying to do better with thumbnails. So thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope I didn't overshare my opinions this week without them being warranted. But if you're watching this, thank you, because you want to hear my opinion to some degree, and I'm very surprised that anybody would even want to hear my opinion. So thank you for watching. Hope you have an awesome week. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I hope you feel loved and appreciated wherever you are. See you next week.